Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I am coming to you from my private practice office. So sometimes you'll find me in my office at school, sometimes you'll find me in my backyard. If I'm home, I am trying to be in the backyard because I spend way too much time inside at work. And then on weekends, here's my desk. I have this little tiny, I mean, it's not that tiny, it's nice and spread out, which has been nice during the pandemic, but office where I do cognitive behavioral therapy with positive psychology strategies with teenagers and college students. It's a very small private practice because I spend most of my time at the school where I work, Metairie Park Country Day School, but it's also nice to have this little private office carved out for myself so that I can continue doing that more intensive one-on-one work that I really love doing with people. So this is Unit 1, Week 2, and we are, as we are doing with this 3-week unit, we are really just trying to start wading into the water of the world of positive psychology. And so I'm going to talk nuts and bolts, and then I'm going to jump back and talk more big picture theory of what we're trying to accomplish this week and during these weeks in the unit. All right, nuts and bolts. I recommend today, it's Sunday, go back and click on grades and make sure all your assignments are graded and in there. There are some times when I've not given a grade yet because either you need to go back and do some responses or you haven't posted an image so that we can just see it posted. So if that's the case, I've given you a link of where to learn how to post pictures so that we don't have to download them to see them. The reason why I'm a stickler about this in the beginning of the semester is we're going to be doing it all semester long. You're going to be posting pictures of various sorts. And so we really just need to learn how to do it correctly now. And that's why I just kind of hold you up rather than just saying like, all right, it's fine. It's not the way I want it to be done, but move on, just because the sooner you learn that skill, the easier things are going to be. So, but when you click onto grades, you'll get an indicator of where you stand with those things. I don't always get everything right with grades. Sometimes I'll grade something, but then I'll forget to hit complete on it. And so my feedback's there, but the grade isn't. Please twist me if that happens. I'm trying to be conscientious about that, but I do make mistakes. And if there's ever anything that feels or seems like it might be a mistake with the grading, be in touch. Remember, I can offer extensions, but you need to request those in advance of the due date. Let's see, other things. You have your first group work thing coming up, which is fun, right? So get these scheduled ahead of time. Remember, we're working with all sorts of time zones. So your group of 4 will need to coordinate with perhaps somebody. We've got Grace in Hong Kong. We've got Lauren. And welcome, Grace. Grace just joined us this week, and Lauren from Canada also joined us this week. So they are they're spending the weekend trying to catch up with us, which is great. But then we also have Stephanie in Mongolia, and this is what makes GOA so amazing, right? Like, you're going to get to work with people from around the world. The challenge is you're working with time zones from around the world. I jump on whenever I need to figure out, like I was trying to offer Grace a time to meet the Zoom, and I can't figure that out in my head. That's too hard. So I easily found a time converter, just Googled it online, and was able to offer her a meeting super early on Monday morning, which ends up being later in the night for her on Monday. Here's what we have to keep in mind. When you are scheduling group Zooms, let's be conscientious that, we're not all in America. And so, with your job and when you get to the group work, you'll see everybody's got a different job. Somebody's job is to get the Zoom actually coordinated. Find out time zones and make sure we're being respectful of those far away. We do not want them getting up at 2:00 in the morning. This happened once. Somebody set their alarm, got up at 2:00 in the morning to Zoom with their group. That we don't want that to happen. And that's why we always try to give you a weekend in between when things are due to meet. It's also fine to ask for an extension for group work if that's what you need in order to be able to coordinate it with one another. Purpose of group work, we don't want this to all be asynchronous. work on the computer, because so much of what this course is about is connecting, really getting to know and see and understand one another. So this group work is essential in driving that. I did publish a new hangout. So every week I publish a new hangout, right? So on Monday you post your piece, but then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you go back and you respond to classmates. That's just another thing to get used to, and soon you'll be used to it. But until then, I need to give you reminders about that. You are, okay, no, final, hopefully nuts and bolts thing. I'm going to start doing the support tickets, which is required of me through GOA. And what that means is if you're lagging behind an assignment, I have to send a support ticket that goes to your site director at your school, your parent, and to you, just saying like, look, this is where you stand. Try to use this week to catch up. Please do not interpret these support tickets as me doing this to you. I'm not. You're not in trouble with me. We are in it together. We are fellow travelers over this course. You are never going to hear me berate you or lecture you or anything like that. That is just not how I interact with humans. But the purpose of this is that, sometimes I think when I first started with teaching with GOA, I would be super laid back and lenient and be like, oh, just get it in when you can. And I realized like that was not really, sometimes when we're falling behind, it's because we're overwhelmed and we have a lot going on in our lives. So the idea of looping in the support of your site director and your parents is just like, let's all be conscientious of this together and figure out how we support you together in getting the work done. That's all that is. And so those will start going out next week if people are lagging behind on assignments. Okay. So you're going to do your group work, which is just exploring what is positive psychology, all that foundation stuff. But then next week, what we're going to also dive into is you're going to get a taste of what it feels like to be a positive psychology researcher. First, you're going to be the researchee. You're going to take a couple surveys, identify some things, and then you're going to identify an aspect of positive psychology that you're already ready to know more about. Maybe it's flourishing. Maybe it's a sense of community. Maybe it's mindset. Maybe it's how much resilience you have. You'll be able to. I would recommend going back to our Excel sheet of words and figuring out maybe from there one thing that you would like to know more about, and then you're going to build a survey, 10-question survey on that one thing that you're going to give that survey to 10 family members or friends or anybody. But then you're going to interpret the results. And I don't mean like this is not a stats class, but what understandings did you glean about what it means to be human from those results? It's a fun assignment, and that it allows you to think a little bit of like, okay, let's take these theories or these terms and let's think about what they mean and look like in real life. Of course, you were to let me know if you have any questions. Our group, our class is pretty much solidified now. So one thing, oh my goodness, this is so important. One thing to start doing is when you are giving each other responses, make sure you use each other's names. So you'll say, hey, Lalani, when you mentioned this theory, it got me thinking about this in my response, or whatever but let's use each other's names. I don't know, it's a way to acknowledge and see each other and to be more present with one another. It's such a simple thing, but simple things really do add up as we are intentionally creating community. Okay, so my question for you this week, remember you're gonna go into Twist, you're gonna click on the message section, and then you're gonna direct message me the answer to this question. That this is how I know that you saw this video, but it's also your chance if there's anything you need to fill me in on struggles you're having or how the class is going, anything. This is a good time to do it, although you can do that at any time. But my question for you is, what is one thing that surprised you recently? It could be so tiny, but a surprise. All right, look forward to hearing your answers. Have a good last bit of the weekend. It's raining here, but that's okay. All right, bye.